Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're gearing up for your competitive exams, you have come to the exact right place. Let's dive straight into the most important current affairs from March 18th, 2026. All right, let's get right to it. I want you to think of this session as a super quick, rapid-fire revision quiz. We're going to cover the biggest news stories, and you can test yourself to see what you already know. So are you ready? Let's go. Okay, first up, we're diving into government initiatives and some major infrastructure updates. You know these are always super hot topics for exams, so this is where we really need to focus. So the big story here is the huge tech upgrade for our country's infrastructure. The National Dam Safety Authority just rolled out two really powerful new digital tools. The first one, Netra, is pretty cool. It uses AI, kind of like a super smart search engine, to help engineers understand complex safety rules in an instant. And the other one, DARPin, is all about monitoring risks in real time, almost like predicting problems before they even happen. This is a massive step forward in keeping our dams safe. Now, let's switch gears to something that affects a lot of us, and the economy, gold hallmarking. This timeline gives you a perfect picture of how the government has been rolling this out phase by phase to make sure the gold we buy is pure. It's all about building that trust with consumers. As you can see, it started with 256 districts back in 2021 and has just kept growing. This kind of gradual rollout is a classic exam question, so it's good to see the pattern. So out of that whole timeline, what's the one thing you absolutely have to remember? It's this number right here, 380. As of March 2026, 380 districts across India are now under mandatory gold hallmarking. If you take away just one number from this topic, make it this one. Next up, this is a really important development for India's skilled workforce. The Ministry of Skill Development has teamed up with the GATI Foundation, and their goal? It's simple, but it's also really ambitious. They want to make it way easier for skilled Indians to land great jobs overseas and really position India as the world's go-to place for talent. So, what does this actually mean for a worker who wants to go abroad? Well, as you can see, it's about so much more than just finding a job. We're talking language training, getting familiar with new cultures, and even getting help with all that tricky paperwork. This whole initiative is basically building a complete support system, making sure our workers don't just find jobs, but they can actually succeed and thrive in them. All right, so we've seen what the government's doing with policy and infrastructure. Now let's switch gears and look at the exciting stuff happening in science, technology, defense, and the economy. There's been a lot of action at BHEL's Hardwar facility. I mean, we're talking about a brand new solar plant for clean energy, a huge new furnace to ramp up manufacturing, and even an upgraded gun mount for the Indian Navy. This is a perfect snapshot of the Make in India initiative in action, boosting our energy, manufacturing, and defense all at the same time. Okay, now for some amazing news that's literally out of this world. ISRO has hit another huge milestone. They successfully tested their CE-20 cryogenic engine down in Mahendragiri. This is a total game changer for India's space program, and honestly, it's a moment we can all be super proud of. And the numbers here are what make this so exciting. They've managed to boost the engine's thrust from 19 tons all the way up to 22 tons. So what does that mean in simple terms? It means our biggest rocket, the LVM-3, can now carry much heavier and more complicated satellites into orbit. This just opens up a whole new world of possibilities for future missions to the moon and for commercial satellite launches. Moving on to the economy, the Reserve Bank of India just launched a new awareness campaign, and it's got a really catchy name. Thoda Dhyan Se, which just means a little carefully. Any guesses what this might be all about? And here's your answer. The whole Thoda Dhyan Se campaign is part of the RBI's Digital Payments Awareness Week. Think about it. So many of us use digital payments every single day. Making sure those transactions are safe is absolutely crucial. So this campaign is really just about reminding everyone to be a little careful, watch out for fraud, and use digital payments with confidence. All right, now let's turn our attention to the world of arts and culture and some of the important people making headlines. This is a lovely story. India Post has paid tribute to the legendary musician Annapurna Devi on what would have been her 100th birthday. She was a true master of the surbahar, which is this beautiful instrument, kind of like a sitar, but with a much deeper, richer, and more calming sound. What a wonderful way to honor a true cultural icon. Now, for all of you preparing for exams, this slide is really important. Annapurna Devi was recognized with some of India's highest awards. Just take a look at this list. the Padma Bhushan, the Sangeet Natak Academy Award, and Fellowship. These are exactly the kind of facts that love to pop up in the arts and culture section of your exams. And from honoring an icon at home, we now look at what's happening on the world stage. Over on the international front, José Antonio Costa has been sworn in as the new president of Chile. It's always a good idea to keep track of new world leaders because these questions often find their way into current affairs papers. And for our final section, we'll quickly cover a really important social program and a key international day you should know about. Here we have a fantastic example of corporate social responsibility. Oil India Limited is actually funding a project to upgrade health centers for tribal communities in Madhya Pradesh. This is a real tangible step towards giving people better access to medical care right where they need it most. It's all part of that larger Viksit Bharat vision of making India a developed nation. And here's a date for your calendar. March 13th is World Rotaract Day. It's a day to celebrate all the incredible community service and leadership work that young Rotaract members do all over the world. And in 2026, it marked the 58th anniversary of the very first Rotaract Club. Whew, okay, we've covered a lot of ground today. So now, let's just boil it all down to the absolute most important points you need to walk away with. Pay very close attention to this next slide. Here it is, your quick revision checklist. Gold hallmarking, 380 districts. ISRO's new engine thrust, 22 tons. The musician honored by India Post, Annapurna Devi. RBI's campaign, Thora Dhyan. And World Rotaract Day, March 13th. These are your key facts. Lock them in. So, as we wrap things up, I'll leave you with a question to think about. Looking at everything we discussed, and based on what you know about past exams, which one of these facts do you think has the best shot of showing up on your test paper? Have a think about that. And that is a wrap on today's Explainer. All the information and the visuals we used were based on the daily current affairs quiz from ATA 247. Thank you so much for joining me, and please keep